Hey Freebs, Jordan Page here, and the moment you have all been asking for, begging for, and waiting for almost 2 years now is here. I'm gonna give you a tour of my kitchen. We renovated it, it's done. I'm gonna show you every nook and cranny in all of its messy glory. You ready for this? We're gonna do it, for real, I promise. If you don't know, I am a mother of 8 children. That's right, we are a family of 10, and we bought this house. It's a little bit of an older home. The kitchen was very outdated, and it was also made for a very, very small family. Literally, the dishwasher was one drawer, one cabinet drawer. It was tiny, which did not work for our huge family. So we gutted this bad boy. I'm ready to show you the finished product, but more importantly, I wanna show you how I carefully designed this kitchen to work well for a large family like ours and to be as productive and efficient and family friendly as possible. And you might be surprised by some of the hidden features in this kitchen that I fully insisted on. Let's get on with it. I'm kinda nervous. There's so much I wanna show you in my kitchen that I'm actually going to split this into 2 parts. So be sure to watch both of them to get the full view and all of our little secrets that we have hidden throughout this kitchen of magic. In terms of demolition and layout, just so you get a feel, there was actually a wall here. Our kitchen actually ended in the middle of this island. The fridge was like right here. I'll try to find some before pictures so you guys can see them. But on the other side of this wall was a little piano room. It was kind of like a formal dining room, and we really never used it. With a family being as big as ours, I wanted this kitchen to be huge and open, and my number one goal was to have as much seating as possible, as much space as possible for not only our 8 kids, but then for their friends. I hope to feed an entire football team over here someday, and I think with taking down this wall, this will allow us to do it. We'll talk about this area a little bit more, but let's start over here. One of the hardest parts of any renovation is setting a budget and sticking to it. And in my case, there were a few things that I really wanted to splurge on and was willing to splurge on, but in order to do that, I really had to let go of a couple of things. So I will point those splurges and those saves out throughout the process as we go, but just know that one of my important focal point splurges was actually on this wall here. I really wanted 2 full-size fridges and a full-size freezer, and I didn't want them to look like a wall of fridges. I wanted them to look like cabinets because the way our home is this is the front door, and when people walk in, the first thing they see is this wall of fridges. So I really wanted it to be warm and inviting and not stark and gray and cold. I wanted a blend of white and wood, and so this natural wood is white oak. I know it's really trendy right now, but I also believe it's going to be timeless, so I was willing to risk it on this. And I specifically wanted this herringbone pattern, which I really had to fight for it, but I think it turned out so cool. And I'll show you where I got the inspiration for this from a little bit later in the tour. But yes, we've got ourselves a fridge, another full-size fridge, and full-size freezer, and it's awesome. And the way I have it designed right now, this middle fridge is more of my ingredients fridge. It's where I keep just meat and veggies and a lot of condiments, sauces, and things to create the meal. And this fridge, we really try to keep leftovers in it so that when my kids are hungry or they want to feed themselves, they kind of know to aim for the leftovers fridge to find what they need. We also keep sandwiches in there that we make for the week for school lunches. And by organizing it this way, it actually really cuts down on food waste because we know where to go for what we need and nothing gets left behind. So for us, this has worked great. Another thing that was really important for me with this kitchen was a ton of storage, lots of storage. And so I tried to squeeze cabinets everywhere I possibly could, and you'll see a lot throughout this tour. One of the things we did is we added real usable cabinets all around the fridges and freezer, not only for aesthetics, but for storage. Let me show you what we have in there. These cabinets we actually left empty for a long time because I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to use them, but they've since become our medicine cabinet, which I know feels a little weird because typically people have medicine cabinets in bathrooms, but we actually don't have cabinetry in our bathrooms. It's all pedestal sinks and no storage. So it works for us to have these here, and you know, nothing very exciting, but this is everything from bandages and ice packs, finger splints, medicine, even dog medicine and throw up bags and more, all right here. And on this side, on the freezer side, are actually some of my favorite hidden features of the entire kitchen. You will never believe what's inside these cabinets. In this top white cabinet, we've got a hidden water bottle storage. I know this seems a little random, again, because of another secret feature I have around this corner. This has actually been so perfect for us, also because of the ice maker in here, and this has worked really great for us. This cabinet is one of my favorites. It's my brainchild. You ready for what's in here? It's a vacuum cabinet with power. I was really adamant about pulling power from it, so I absolutely love being able to just have my vacuum charged, be able to pull it out, vacuum to my heart's content, and then tuck it away again. It's So handy. If you ever get the chance, please have a vacuum closet in your kitchen. This is another favorite hidden cabinet of mine in the kitchen. Originally, there was going to end up being extra space over here that was just wasted. And I noticed it on the blueprint drawings. Can you make me the world's skinniest cabinet that slides? And he's like, hypothetically speaking, sure. What do you need it for? Let me show you. So with this random space, it became a hidden cleaning closet, and I love it so much. In here are the things that I don't really want my babies to get into. So it's chemicals that we don't like using on the countertops because it can damage them, or it's chemicals that we definitely would not want them to ingest. I keep my cleaning rags in here, solution for our mops, and then a broom and dustpan. And then when you're done, you can just tuck it away and no one is the wiser. Love this thing. Since we're talking cabinets, one thing I want to mention is that another thing that was really important to us was to have our cabinets go all the way to the ceiling. Are they ridiculously tall? I'm 5'9" with long arms. Yes, they are ridiculously tall, but I figure why not take them all the way up anyway? It makes the ceiling feel taller and it just gives you extra storage. Another thing you're gonna notice in this kitchen, most of the counter space we have is just with these 2 islands. It's amazing for prepping food. It's amazing for seating a lot of people. What it's not amazing for is having stuff out on the counter. It's awkward. You don't want a toaster sitting out all the time, or a coffee maker, or a knife block. So what do you do with those things? This space over here, I turned into our appliance cabinet. Up here, we just keep our protein powders that we access a lot with the blender for smoothies and protein shakes. Right here, we've got our tall microwave. I'll explain what that means in a minute. And then down here, we've got our toaster. And this cabinet is so deep. It was important for me that it had a pull-out shelf so that my kids could actually reach it and use the toaster. So we do keep our bread in here as well. We've got power in the back. And then when we're done, we can just close up these appliances and no one even notices. Or if the doors are bothering us, the doors could completely slide in if we want. Another thing that was really important to me in this kitchen was to have really clear zones. And I've talked about this even in our previous kitchen in our last house that we renovated as well. Zones are key. Zones are everything. So what I essentially decided is that this countertop, this bar, is more of a prep bar. It makes more sense for me to prep food here. We've got our cutting boards here. We've got our fridges here. People sit here less of the time. More often people sit over there. So it just made more sense for this to be more of the prep station. Thus, oh, there's a dog. Here's Rio. Oh, hey, buddy. Kids are starting to get home from school. Therefore, with this kind of being the prep area of the kitchen, this is what I did with the rest of the cabinetry over here. This one I turned into my baking station of sorts. Looks like, oh, kids, come on. Hold please. As you can tell, it's not perfect. Not everything is the exact same size and it's not always labeled perfectly, but this actually works really well. So again, we keep our protein powder in here and then we just refill it with those bags up there. And the kids can make oatmeal in the morning. If anyone's baking or cooking anything, they know where to come. And this has worked really well. In order to do this, it had to be a super deep drawer and long, and it had to be strong. So that has been really great. And it was important for me in this drawer to be able to fit huge containers. I didn't want just tiny things that would have to be refilled all the time. So this has worked really, really well for us. And I should mention that there's probably going to be a lot of things that you see here that you'll want links to or information on, anything from organization containers to bar stools. I will put everything in a blog post that I can possibly link and think of, and I will put that in the description. So check that out for information on, hopefully I don't miss anything, but anything you see today. And if there's anything I did miss, let me know in the comments. Under here, this is kind of our Mod Podge appliance drawer. This is where the small random appliances go that we do use all the time, but that I don't want out on the counter. So we've got our little mini blender for the kids' protein shakes. We've got our chopper here, our little electric crate maker, and even our vegetable steamer. So this is kind of where the small random appliances go. Good boy. And now the secret around the corner that I alluded to earlier. This was something that was really important for me that I wanted to splurge on in this kitchen, which in order to get a few of my splurges, I had to give up flooring. I hate this tile. I'm just gonna say it. It's old, it's in bad shape, the grout is disgusting, it's hard to clean, it's hard to vacuum, really hard to mop. I don't like the look of it, but by keeping the flooring that I don't love, I was able to get several things that I did love and were worth the splurge, and this is one of them. Ready? Da 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 da! A drinking dog! Jason! Yes, I have a drinking fountain basically in my kitchen and we love it so much. We use it every single day, multiple times a day. The reason why we chose for it to go right here is for a number of reasons. The other side of this wall is a bathroom, so I figured we'd be able to get water to it. That is important. You gotta be able to have water access. Also, we were able to get power over here, which is another helpful thing. But then this is our door that leads to the backyard and we don't have a drinking fountain outside. And I felt like the kids were running inside and using 800 cups. So by having this right inside the door, now the kids will run inside, grab a drink and run back outside to play without using 600 cups. And I really wanted a drinking fountain that had a water bottle fill up. I cannot tell you how helpful this is. Even at night when the kids are helping to set the table for dinner, they'll just grab a bunch of cups and come over and just fill them all up. It's just faster and it's hands-free. Comes out cold. We love this so much. So we've got the drinking fountain and then around the corner over here is just kind of a little prep area by the sink. I've got dinner going in the crock pot, but this is a continuation of kind of our appliance area. This is where we keep our bigger appliances. This crock pot goes here and we keep our waffle irons, and then down below, a couple of our other big appliances that we use often. So I don't know why necessarily it ended up, it just actually works great because again, this is kind of our prep space. Most of the time, if we run all our waffle irons or Instant Pot, it's here or here. And so it's just worked out really well for us to have those zones. And then this is just our junk drawer that despite my best efforts, it never looks good. So don't judge me. Joss and Deborah home from preschool. Say hi. That's so cute. I love it. I love it. You're gonna hear them in the background of this video, but I've gotta get this done, so we're gonna crank anyway. And again, we don't have a lot of upper cabinets. These are some of the only ones we have. And in here, it's not very exciting. We've just got our glassware, a couple of plates. I had to put the Band-Aids up here because Joss and Deb were going through about 600 Band-Aids a day with them being down in this cabinet. So we just kind of temporarily moved them up here. And then we've got like manuals for our appliances and stuff up here. And our chore sticks, nothing too exciting up here. Another thing that we were really adamant about, mostly Bubba, honestly, was having as many outlets as physically possible all throughout this kitchen, because that was one mistake we made with our last kitchen, is we did not have nearly enough. So we have outlets for everything, and then also under cabinet lighting that we love a lot, especially at night. So you will find outlet in as many places as physically possible all throughout our kitchen. Sup, dude? Look at my big boy making ramen all by himself.
Been doing this like 3 years.
I know, that's true. In an effort to maximize as much storage as physically possible, you'll notice a bunch of hidden cabinets under both sides of the islands as well. This is storage, believe it or not, that we use all the time. It's a little clunky, but it actually works fine. We just slide these bar stools out of the way, which I'll talk about these in a second. Then we have these huge cabinets under here. And this is where I keep big clunky appliances that, again, when we do use them, they just come right on top up here to the prep space. And we've got outlets all around the whole thing. So we've got our bread maker, our mixer, all that kind of stuff. I really do wish I had one of those cabinets that pops out the mixer, but the truth is I don't use it enough to justify losing that much cabinet space. So it was very intentional to have it in here. And then we have our skillet and a couple other things. So this, it has actually been great. I wondered if we would ever use it, and the answer is yes, all the time. So this one is for big appliances. This one is for giant pots and pans. We've got our juicer. We've got little parts to random appliances that all of this stuff is actually supposed to go in here. I don't know why it's up there. These are kind of big oversized things. And then in here, I keep all of my freezer meal stuff and food prep stuff so that it doesn't clutter up our more usable cabinets. We kind of keep the ugly stuff banished down here where no one has to know. Let's talk bar stools. I know that getting acrylic or clear bar stools can be very controversial because a lot of people think, why would you ever do that with kids? Aren't there fingerprints on them all the time? And the answer is yes. Why, yes, there are fingerprints on them all the time, but it's really not so bad. The reason I specifically chose these is because our two islands are absolutely massive. And this one has 6 chairs over here and another, we have 6 bar stools at each countertop. That's a lot of chairs and a lot of seating. And I didn't want bar stools to obstruct the view. I love how open it is. After taking down that wall, it finally feels like we have more of an open concept. It's more bright and made it lighter in here. And when people walk in, I want them to just take it all in. I don't want the view to be obstructed by 100 bar stools that are taking away from the beautiful, clean aesthetic that is our countertops and our islands. So I felt like having them be clear and gold, that they would kind of just blend into the background down and be a little bit less of a focal point, and that has been the case. Are there fingerprints? Yeah, it's not too bad though. At the end of the night, I just take my microfiber e-cloths, get it a little wet, and do a quick wipe down. They wipe off really well, so it hasn't been too bad. The benefits outweigh the downsides for sure. I've been really, really happy with these. Moving along over here, we've got a garbage can and a recycling bin, and this was really important for me to have over here by the sink. Again, remember, this is where I do my prep. So I've got my cutting boards and our cutting gloves in here. We've got garbage can recycling here. It just, the flow, it all matters. And then over here, we've got our baking dishes and our cooling racks for this prep area as well. And then this drawer actually originally had like our dish towels in it, but I'm gonna skip ahead. As you can see, I have a thing for cute dish towels, and we actually go through a ton of them because I switch them out every day. I like them. They're cute. There's different ones for different seasons. I have a discount. I'll link to the brand that I like below, but it was too many to fit in this little drawer. So this became more of our dish towel and hot pad and hot mitt drawer because it just fits so many more. And then over here, we didn't know what else to put here, but it kind of just became an overflow for our cleaning rags. This one belongs over here. Come on, guys, follow the system. So we're just gonna ignore that and pretend that it's pretty. Okay, bye-bye. I'm just gonna power you through the rest of my drawers over here. I have not looked at them, so we're gonna hope and pray that they're in good shape. Wish us luck. First up, we've got, this is our little like baggy foil, and it looks like we're out of plastic wrap drawer. These I just got online. I actually do really like them. They're a little bit annoying because they slide around, but anyway, I'll link to those. In here, we've got our mixing bowls. Oh, and yes, these are all drawers instead of cabinets. That was really specific to me. I strongly dislike cabinets for stuff like this. In our last kitchen, we had deep drawers and I love them so much. So I made sure that all of these are drawers. In here, we've got kind of our little baking dishes. You don't belong. You, my friend, belong over here, which when your kids empty the dishwashers, this is what happens. Some more baking dishes. This is our little like paper goods drawer. Looks like we're running a little low on a couple things. This is our silverware drawer. And I have to tell you, she ain't pretty, but I absolutely love this system. Instead of doing a huge silverware tray, I put them in these separate containers, which I love. So you've seen it a lot on Instagram or different videos where when it's dinner time, we line all the food up here like a buffet. And if all we need is forks, I'll just lay out the forks. Or if all we need are forks and spoons, I'll lay out the forks and spoons, just like that. I love being able to pull these out as needed. So this has actually been a huge win for me. And then this is where we keep our butter. So random. And these are supposed to be nice and organized, but welcome to life with kids. It just doesn't always happen. And that's okay. Over here, we've got a couple silicone bibs and our oversized lids for Tupperware and baking pans. Oof, woof. This drawer has gotten out of hand. This drawer is supposed to be kind of kitchen gadgets that aren't appliances. We've got our little egg rings. You've seen me use these for breakfast sandwiches. We've got our chopper that you've seen in a lot of Instagram cooking videos, cheese grater, mandolin, funnels, random kitchen stuff, again, that does not have power. We're just gonna close that ugly drawer. And then down here, we've got our Tupperware, which usually this system actually works pretty well. I do find that having a container to contain the smaller lids and then just stacking the bigger lids seems to work pretty well for my family. Now, if they could just follow the system of putting stuff away, it'd be a little easier, but here's our Tupperware drawer. Another thing that we really insisted on having that I highly recommend if you have young kids especially is a hand washing sink or a prep sink. We have our big sink, but that is oftentimes filled with dishes, or if I'm in the middle of cooking, it's full of vegetable pieces and pots and pans. I love having a little sink with a stool right by it at all times where the kids can come up and wash their hands themselves. But what's clutch to this? Automatic soap dispenser. It's a game changer, I'm telling you. And actually, we were supposed to have touch faucets on all of our sinks, but they sent us the wrong ones, and we would have had to switch out all the handles because they sent us this finish and all the handles that match on accident. They were supposed to have sent us the other stuff. In the end, we decided to leave it as is, but not gonna lie, I do kind of miss having a touch faucet, and we really would have loved having one here. So I would say that I recommend a touch faucet, an automatic soap dispenser, and a hand washing sink. And we did make sure that this hand washing sink does have a disposal so that if someone is helping us wash vegetables or do something here, that we can run the garbage disposal. However, I did not want a switch on the counter. Our last house had a hand washing sink with a switch on the counter, and it terrified me because I felt like there was going to be a kid that pushed the button and chopped their fingers off. So we made sure that the switch to the disposal is under here so the kids don't even know it's there. Misdirection. The cabinetry by the sink is fairly self-explanatory except for a little secret. And again, one of the splurges we got instead of the floor, which is a game changer, especially for big families. And it is not one dishwasher, but two dishwashers. Oh, it's the best. Having two full-size dishwashers, I swear to you, with as much cooking and eating as we do in our family, it is so worth giving up the counter space for if you ever get the chance. Highly recommend. Another thing that we really wanted was just the world's biggest sink. We wanted a sink that was absolutely huge because, as you can imagine, we go through a ton of dishes and I hate having them out on the counter. So at the very least, we plop them in here and then there's enough space that we can still function in the kitchen. I fell in love with this sink. We were originally just looking at a white porcelain or ceramic sink and they were so expensive to get one this size. And I really wanted one that was not divided in the middle. I really wanted one that had a huge open middle and then a smaller side for maybe dishes to be hand washed or whatever. And we ended up finding this hammered sink and it was like half the price of the white ceramic ones. And it made me worry that maybe it wouldn't hold up well or that there would be something wrong with it. But in truth, it's fine. And the look is really cool and unique. It's not quite silver. It's not quite gold. It really is not translating on camera, but we absolutely love this and have been really happy with the uniqueness of it. And it was half the cost. So win, 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 win. And then underneath, I don't even know if you care, but since I'm here, nothing very exciting. But again, we keep more of our toxic chemicals up there. So under here, we really just keep like soap, vinegar, and then this is a little bit of water and dish soap. This is what I use to clean our counters, or this, because we really cannot have any chemicals, including vinegar, on our counters. So we just use this guy or a little bit of Dawn and water in a spray bottle, and it does the job. And then we've got our little organization things here. Nothing too exciting, but this is actually kind of handy. I'll link to this. I do love this guy where you can kind of just put your random cleaning items. So that's been nice. Let's keep moving on down here to the cooking area. We've got our knife block. I really would rather this be in a drawer. Oh, we've got that drawer. Now I'm thinking, kind of feel like I want my babies to get a little bit older because they do tend to stay away from this with it being on the counter with the drawer. Ooh, I don't know. They are toddlers, so maybe in a little bit, but I hate having stuff on my counter. So I would love for that to be removed. This is just a giant cutting board that actually came with the previous kitchen, and we just leave it here all the time and it's great. We love it. It doesn't look good, but it's very functional. Okay, I've got a bit of a spice problem. I am definitely a spice hoarder. I know you guys know this about me. I cannot help it. I've got lots and lots and lots of spices. Don't judge me. Again, I already showed you the towel drawer, but we're gonna look again because so clean and so pretty. And then what's down here? Oh yeah, this is just kind of some random cooking stuff. Oh, that doesn't belong in there. Kids. So anyway, bread pans, strainers, got our oven. Oh, if you don't use towel clips to keep your hand towels on, who even are you? Trust me, it's a game changer. And then over here, this is kind of our serving area for spices or things that I use for cooking, but don't get into quite as much as those. So these are our serving spoons and Mod Podge items over here for when we are entertaining or serving dinner. These are, I guess you could consider them more of our pretty things, whereas we'll get to it, but over here is more of our functional cooking things. And then these are cooking items I don't use quite as much as the savory items. And also I find that I like to separate my sweet seasonings and my savory seasonings because I don't want my Snickers shaking blend to taste like basil. You know what I mean? So we've got like honey, cornstarch, cinnamon, vanilla, apple cider vinegar, kind of stuff like that. And then down here, a few more extra things that I don't use enough to justify putting them in there. So put them in here. Oh, what? What is this? Out on my counter? Oh, well, it's my favorite cookbook on earth. What? Oh, is that my face? Maybe. Shameless plug. No, but actually we did make this for dinner last night and it was freaking fantastic. So swipe up, double tap, like and subscribe. Okay, and then up here, we've got Lazy Susan Action, and these are liquids that I use most often for cooking. And then the ones that I don't use quite as often end up in those drawers. So there's that. And then truthfully, we're supposed to have 2 more shelves here and we cannot find them. I think the cabinet people never brought them. That actually reminds me that I need to follow up on that because that would be really nice to have. Let's talk about this beautiful black splash. I know you have questions. questions. It is a tile. I have no idea what it's called. I can't remember where we got it. It is marble, maybe faux marble. I don't know. I can't remember. I will look it up, and if I can find any details on it, pricing, where we got it, I will put it in that blog post aforementioned. But what I love about it is that it's a blend of all the colors that we use in our kitchen. It's got like a little bit of tan, a little bit of gray, a little bit of gold flecks, white, marble-ish. I just love, 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 love this tile. And this pot filler, I'm telling you, you guys, if you ever do a kitchen renovation, if you're in the middle of it, to add a pot filler is not that much expense. It really, really isn't. If you're already punching through a wall anyway, I just absolutely love this thing, and I use it every night when I cook because I can fill the pot right here rather than filling it and have to carry it. Or if I just need to add a little bit more water, oh, I love the pot filler. Also, I just feel like it's pretty. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. What are you doing? You're funny. Okay, bye. A little bit more on this part one, I promise. We're getting there. Now let's move on to this. This is kind of the prep counter. This is kind of the eating counter and serving counter, if you will. So we'll just jump over here, and this is more of the functional kitchen tools. Again, forgive the mess. My kids are the ones that put dishes away. They do pretty well. And then over here is more just like what I need for stirring, flipping, stuff like that. Ideally, the silicone would be over here and the wooden stuff would be here. But you know what? Life's too short to get too picky, right? And then these are pots and pans. So these are kind of like big functional family ones. A lot of these are dishwasher safe, which I love because it makes it so easy. And then these are my pretty dishes that I use a lot just for, you know, content. Like it's pretty because it's white and gold. Or if I'm serving at a dinner party, I just really love these. But they're a little less functional because you do have to wash them by hand. And anyway, so I've kind of trained my family like, hey, just use these top ones because you can beat them up pretty good and throw them in the dishwasher versus my pretty ones that we kind of just keep for me down there. While I'm here, I want to show you one more secret thing in my kitchen that I absolutely love. It was here originally and they were just going to take it out or cover it up, but I said, no, you got to save this. We can use it. And it is central vac. Do we use central vacuum systems anymore these days? No, I don't. I sure remember using them in the 90s growing up, but what we did is we kept the suction in the vents for this reason. Picture this, you're sweeping, you've got all these crumbs and all this dog hair and all this dirt from the day. Sweep, 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 sweep. You kick this. It becomes a suction dustpan and I love it so much. So you can sweep right on in there. So we have one right here and then we also have a second one down in that white cabinet right there. So that's kind of a fun feature that my kids love. They actually love sweeping because they love seeing all the dirt and crumbs suck into the cabinet. Where does it go? Nobody knows. I actually literally don't know. Coming around the corner, this area was very, very, very intentional. Anyone who has seen videos of our last kitchen and our last house, you will see a lot of similarities here because this area is modeled to be as easy as possible for our kids to be self-sufficient. So number one, we have a separate microwave. Yes, a second one, and it's low. So literally even my toddlers know how to open it, how to put their food in, close it, and to push this button to give them 30 seconds on whatever it is they're heating up. They can completely heat up their own breakfast, and I love that they can reach it. And then we have that taller microwave over there as overflow. This is where I keep all of my lids. I know this seems unconventional because the pans are here, but there's so many of them, they just made it really cluttered and we weren't using this cabinet for anything else. So there's that. Over here, we've got bigger plates and cups and little kid plates and cups. The sippy cups and lids go in here, but they're all in the dishwasher right now. But again, all about serving and stations and being self-sufficient. So we pull up the plates, I pull up these cups. Yes, this is a coffee spinner and it's genius and I love it. I'll link to it. Or we pull up the bowls, I take out the silverware, set it here, and boom, we lay out the dinner and the kids can completely serve themselves. This is another big secret that most people do not expect in our kitchen. You ready for this? Refrigerated snack drawers, baby. Yes, you remember these from our last kitchen. We moved into our last house and they were already there. Otherwise, we probably would have never thought to put them in, especially in this kitchen, and we would have never known how much we love them. We love them. This is a little depleted. It is shelf timber right now, though you're gonna be watching this in October, so I don't have a ton of extra snacks right now. But this is where when our kids are hungry, they have free reign, I don't know how to say it, to these drawers, and we try to keep them stocked with hard-boiled eggs, fruit, avocado, cheese, anything other than crud from the pantry. Love those. We will also keep a gallon of milk in here and ketchup, which we use very often when we're serving. I don't know why they're not in there right now, but normally we'll have stuff like that in there too, just so we don't have to be walking back and forth to the fridge so much. All right, almost done with these cabinets. So over here, this is just a junk drawer. This is kind of a charging station, and this is also where we keep our highs and lows dinner book, which is really fun. We love doing this. It's where we just kind of keep like Kindles that are charging and extra cords, a couple other things like that. Down here, we've got like thermoses, water bottles for bikes, and then blender bottles for on-the-go protein drinks, and then lids down here. And another garbage can and recycling bin, because I feel like you can never have too many. So we have our one over there, we have this one, and then I actually also have another garbage over there, which I really like having. Over here on this side of the serving counter, we have more of that cabinet storage, but I'm gonna be honest, these are empty right now. We really don't use these very often because we have plenty of storage for everything else, but someday maybe we will need them for something. So they're a great place to play hide and seek. If anyone ever comes over and plays hide and seek, this is your money shot right here. This thing had to stay. I really wanted it gone, but it had to be there. And unfortunately, this is literally as small as we could make it. We shaved it down as small as we physically could. Instead of just having it be open drywall like this, I wanted it tiled and edged just so it became a little bit more of an art piece rather than just an eyesore. Truthfully, I thought it would drive me crazy, but we've gotten used to it and it really isn't bad. And I actually love that it's another excuse to bring in this pretty tile that we love so much. And it did allow us a place for light switches, and around on this side, more power. So we've got our Google here that we use for playing music, and we hide our remote for that, which I'll show you in a second. We've got power over here. This thing's actually really cool. It gathers fruit flies. So I keep my fruit basket here, and then this captures all of the fruit flies on the back. Kind of clever, huh? And by the way, everybody needs this. It's modern manners for teens, and then they have a kid version. It's amazing. So it's my friend Brooke's book, so we keep it here and flip through the pages every couple of days, and it's rad. Love it. You wanna show him? Come here, you come help me. He wants to show you the secret light. Okay, so this light, we were very specific about it. I wanted it pretty and blingy, of course, because that's how I operate, but Bubba insisted on a special little feature. Should we show him? Okay, push this button in the middle. Yep, so it turns on the light, but then push this one right here. Watch. It turns into a chandelier fan, which we love. On this entire floor, this entire main floor of our house, there's not a single window that opens. That is going fast. The only windows that opened on our entire main floor, in our entire house, including Bubba's office, our laundry room, our bedroom, all of it, was this window right here and that window right there. It did not make for any airflow whatsoever. So we did two things. One, we installed a fan, and that helps a lot. Number two, we expanded this window and made it bigger, and we made sure that it was a window that could slide open so we could get a little more air when it's nice out, because otherwise it gets so stuffy on this floor. Let's talk about this giant table for a second. This, again, was a brainchild that was important to me because I wanted as much seating as physically possible in here, but we were really struggling to find a table that fit the space and that wasn't $8 bazillion and that held a lot of people, but we also didn't want one that was super long because it didn't seem to fit very well. It felt awkward. So, true story, this was actually a table in my office, and this was an extra one that we had in a different room, but we had bought them at the same time from the same company, and they really were honestly not even that expensive. I got them from Wayfair. So we put them together, put in the two leaves, and now it looks like one big table. And then if we really wanted to, we could separate them, but we've never needed to. So I love that it makes a giant table. And this was the inspiration behind the herringbone on the fridge. I had seen herringbone cabinets before, and so when I saw these tables years ago, I was like, I have to have this for my office. And then when we had the opportunity to put cabinets on our fridge, I said, I really want to take the herringbone onto the fridge, and this is ultimately where it came from. Last but not least, for this part of the video anyway, I want to talk about kind of our little family station over here. This is actually a frame TV. I know a lot of you have seen this before online. I really wanted a TV in here.
We're making popsicles.
You're making popsicles?
But they're not ready.
They're not ready yet? Oh, okay. That sounds so yummy. I really love having a TV here because for one, I like being able to play music or watch something while I'm cooking or cleaning at night. But number two is we really like being able to cast something while we're eating as a family. In the morning, we cast our scripture study videos up here. Sometimes we'll watch like home movies up here when we're eating dinner, or if we're teaching a lesson, or if we're watching one of the kids' new ninja videos that came out. I don't know, something as a family. We love pulling it up here. And the reason it's positioned where it is because of this giant barrier thing right here. I was really specific about wanting to be able to stand or sit almost anywhere in the kitchen and be able to turn and see that. That actually worked out to be the perfect place. What do you think, Leo? What do you think of this kitchen, huh? Love it? Is it your favorite? Oh, don't get too excited. I don't want you to, wear yourself out now. And last but not least, this is a family station that we recently invested in, and I've actually been really happy with it. We love our clipboard system, and we've done this for years and years, but we did recently kind of switch over and tried this, and it's been really great. So each morning, the kids have chores that they can sign off, and then we can also have photos if we want, or our calendar of events, which are like color-coded, and that way the kids can know where they need to be and when. All right, you're gonna have to come back for part 2 to see the rest because it's too much to share here. We've got our computer station, our homework station, our drink station, our family station, and more. So be sure to check out part 2 for that video.